You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. Hey, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there? I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year. And I do want to wish all my listeners a Happy New Year. So, without further ado, Happy New Year to all my listeners. And I know there are tons of you out there. Yes, I actually got to see some of the numbers. Now, I have to make a couple of announcements. I have a new graphic, a new show logo. And as much as I've heard people telling me just record the screen when you log out, sign out for the end of the show, I'm working on a new ending. Now, the ending isn't completely done yet, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. Now, we're going to be adding a couple of new things, but first I have a couple of announcements. I've got some outstanding shows coming up you won't want to miss. Tomorrow, Justin Kinney's in the house. Oh yeah, tomorrow, Justin joins me live on air. Imagine what Justin and I will say about Iran, North Korea, and whatever pops off tomorrow. Then, Monday. Oh my gosh. Monday promises to be the epic show. I've got Wild back, teamed up with Justin. If that ain't a duo, I'm not sure how much talking I'll get in on Monday's show. But you know that's going to be the bomb. Team up Wild and Justin. The guy that can give you all the intellectual background, along with the man who has been there, done that, with the shell casings to prove it. So that has got to be an awesome show. I'll be doing some talking to be sure, but I'm going to let the two of them talk it out. Who knows what they'll come up with? I've heard the topic is going to be mostly North Korea, but I'm willing to bet Iran's going to rear its ugly head. Because, come on, Iran trades with North Korea. So, and yes, for all of you listening out there, whether you're listening, if you're listening live, why aren't you in the chat room over at KLRNradio.com/chat, where liberty and reason still reign? Come on. Start yourself a new habit this year. Wander on over to the chat room. Come on, you can do it. Might even make a new friend. And Coffee Shop, I'm recording 28 brand new episodes of Coffee Shop. So if you are out there and you're an author, or you've got a friend that's an author, or I'm working on getting some of the other well-known authors on the show, don't worry. Cross my fingers. I'm working it. I promise. But yes, it is going to be a whole new year. Now, I'm still working on all the changes. It's hard to change so many things so fast. But boy, are there a stack of them coming down the pike. Now, that doesn't mean the show prep has gone away. Trust me, there's more show prep than this. But I promise you, it's going to be an interesting year here if you're hanging with me. So, just hang on for the ride, and no, that doesn't mean I'm screaming. Sorry for you fans of the Scream. The Scream has been retired. And yes, I've got my show prep. I'm just sorting through it. I'm not that organized. Wouldn't be me if I was, would I? All right. We got the big stories and some not so well-known ones. Promise. Of course, Iran is top of my hit parade right now. And I couldn't imagine it being anything else. So, let's see what we got. Nikki Haley had quite a bit to say in a press conference earlier today, and so did Sarah Sanders. So, we're going to lead off with a Sarah Sanders clip.
The United States supports the Iranian people, and we call on the regime to respect its citizens' basic right to peacefully express their desire for change. America longs for the day when Iranians will take their rightful place alongside the free people of the world. As the President said in October, we stand in total solidarity with the Iranian regime's longest-suffering victims, its own people. The citizens of Iran have paid a heavy price for the violence and extremism of their leaders, and the Iranian people long to reclaim their country's proud history, its culture, its civilization, and its cooperation with its neighbors.
Well, for those of you who don't know, yes, protests have broken out all over Iran. All over. And Nikki Haley had some amazing things to say.
All these brigades have come out to the streets. They've come out against the leader. Political prisoners must be freed. Independence, freedom, Iranian Republic. Neither Gaza nor Lebanon, my life only for Iran.
She was reading some of the words from some of the social media accounts that the Iranian government is trying to block.
Let go of Syria. Think of us. We will die, but we'll take Iran back. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We're all together. And in reference to the Supreme Leader, quote, feel some shame. Let go of the country. Those are not my words. Those are not the words of the United States. Those are the words of the brave people of Iran.
Yes, she used her platform at the United Nations to help give voice to the people of Iran. And Host Kitty has a comment about that. He stands with the people of Iran. Hey, Host Kitty, what do you think of the Iranian leadership? I think that pretty well sums up his opinions. So no, Host Kitty has gone nowhere. How could I get rid of the kitty that keeps me company when I don't have Justin or Wild or some other guest on? So, it is going to be an exciting year. I mean, it is... Watching what's coming out of Iran is absolutely amazing. Now, of course, the Iranians are doing what they always do. They are blaming their enemies for these protests. Guess what? Womp womp. Because the enemies have nothing to do with it.
The civilized world must remain united and vigilant against the rogue state's development of a nuclear...
Oh, wrong country, sorry. That was a Norco clip. Hit it a bit early. I'm jumping the gun. Sorry, some of my audio clips are still out of order. That, I doubt, will ever change. So, let's talk about what's going on in Iran. The people of Iran have come out in droves. This is 6 days. We're now on to 6 days of anti-government protests in Iran. There's a couple dozen that have been killed. There have been hundreds of arrests. And yes, I mean hundreds. The Iranian regime is out there playing crackdown in the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps. Is out there knocking heads and dragging people off to jail. But here's the thing. The Iranian population on a whole is young. And they want more social freedom, more political openness. They don't want the clerics to hold all the cards. The average worker is increasingly unhappy with the stagnant economy, despite the lifting of the sanctions. What you guys don't understand, when Iran signed the nuclear deal, they told the people that the economy would flourish because the sanctions had been lifted. It hasn't. It has been a womp womp, a complete fail. So the people of Iran have decided to take matters into their own hands. Let's get that last audio clip in here on Iran.
In recent days, we have watched widespread protests erupt in many Iranian cities. Years of mismanagement, corruption, and foreign adventurism have eroded the Iranian people's trust in their leaders. The Iranian regime spends its people's wealth on spreading militancy and terror abroad rather than ensuring prosperity at home. Prices for everyday staples and fuel are rising, while the Revolutionary Guards spend the nation's wealth on foreign militant groups and enrich themselves in the process. The Iranian people are angry at the rising tide of corruption in their daily lives. The people are tired of paying the price for their violent and corrupt rulers. As a result, we are now seeing an organic, popular uprising organized by brave Iranian citizens on the largest scale since 2009.
Now, in 2009, our country didn't do anything. And I have no conclusive proof. Repeat, I have no conclusive proof. Do I need to say that again? I have no conclusive proof, but I would not be surprised if the CIA is covertly attempting to help the protesters. I don't have any proof of this. This is my speculation. And here's the thing. Iran won't let Western media in. So any Western journalist who would like to go over there and try and cover the protest and show what's really going on, they won't be allowed in the country. Now, the last time we saw this was in 2009. And there were irregularities and voting fraud in that election. People scream about voter fraud and irregularities in this country. Well, in this country, you've got a 99.5% chance your vote will actually be recorded properly. In Iran, flip a coin. Now, the previous administration, and I don't do much on U.S. politics, but the previous administration did nothing. And while history doesn't repeat itself, it can rhyme. In 2009 and 2018, they don't quite sound the same. We got protests and all kinds of things going on. It's time. It's time. I would like to see our president come out and make a speech directly to the Iranian people. It will filter through. Thankfully, even though Iran is something of a closed country, they are nowhere near as closed as North Korea. Now, you've got Nikki Haley. She's working with the Security Council, and she's about to try and get the Human Rights Council. Because I can guarantee you the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps will be violating human rights. In fact, if you could put an entity on trial, they could easily be charged with crimes against humanity. Yes. And Trump has sent out some social media tweets. For that, I will give him credit. But I think he needs to speak directly to the people. It will filter in. It'll take a while. It will not be as fast as what we get here. This may be the start of something in Iran. Maybe I will get to visit Tehran in my lifetime. I know it is a beautiful country and the people themselves are beautiful. Now, we're talking approximately, and I say approximately because the government doesn't put out good numbers. 450 people have been arrested. Some of the fatalities include an 11-year-old boy. Of course, Ayatollah Khamenei blamed the unrest on wicked enemies backed by Westerners, Easterners, and reactionaries of the regime. Well, guess what? Nothing could be further from the truth. Now, in Isfahan province, and this is a story I'm sure mainstream did not cover. At least I haven't seen it. They put out footage of violence at a police station. The protesters are accused of trying to steal guns. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. There were gunshots heard on a video that the Iranian government put out. I have a friend I can't name him. Let's just say he's an expert at this kind of stuff. He said that was a hunting rifle. It's nothing a police officer would likely have. And hunting rifles are common in the Iranian countryside. And Isfahan is some 215 miles south of Tehran, the capital. They arrest people by the hundreds. They haven't released numbers. What is it like in an Iranian prison? Well, you're lucky your host is well read. Because I have actually read a book called A Time to Betray. The name of the author is Reza Khalili. He loved his country and his people enough to betray his country. Why? His logic was he betrayed his country in an attempt to fix it. Because he didn't like the revolution that took place in 1979. He contrasts life after the revolution with what life was like as a child. Reza went to school here in the United States. Reza, on a trip, had family in London. So on a trip to see his family in London, he went to the U.S. Embassy and met with the CIA attaché. And he agreed because he was part of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. And he was part of helping them dodge the sanctions. He agreed to help the CIA because he thought they would help him change his country. That did not happen. However, I will give you more this is why in his book he discusses what goes on in Iranian prisons. The most notorious is Evin Prison. And we will talk more about that after I pay those radio station bills. And I will see you on the other side.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
No, I'll stand my ground, won't be turned around, and I'll keep this world from dragging me down, gonna stand my ground.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while I paid those radio station bills. Just goes to show what happens when I get a text message while I'm on air. You'd think my friends and family would know better by now. But, unfortunately, whoops. And, FYI, for anybody wondering, no, that isn't my permanent new bumper music. I'm going to be changing it up to fit my mood, fit the topic, and whatever else moves me. Now, back to Evan Prison. Back to Evan Prison. It is an absolutely, I don't even know what to say about it other than it is one of the darkest places on the planet. They send people to the gallows or to firing squads in mass. You know how we have you hear of an execution taking place in this country, and it's big news. Now, I am working on pulling something up for you. All right, and this is a direct quote from the book. I'd witnessed the infamous Evin prison, where the government kept political detainees. They'd paraded teenage girls in front of me as they led them to their deaths. These girls were barely out of their childhood, barely old enough to think for themselves, much less form thoughts against the state. They knew nothing about the machinations of politics. They were innocent in every sense of the word, and certainly innocent of the trumped-up charges that led to their imprisonment. Yet they suffered fates too brutal for even the most vicious criminal. None of these girls would know the joys of romantic love. None of them would ever hold her own baby in her arms. The few remaining moments of life had been filled with a level of abuse few can imagine. One of the atrocities they do, and I'm going to put this in the most polite terms I can, is they sexually assault virgins before they're executed because they believe virgins are sent straight to heaven. Yes. If that is not horrific. The Savak police arrest you. They throw you into prison. They demand to know the names of your friends. They beat you while they're at it. Yes, that is Evin Prison. And they don't allow visits in this prison. Once in a rare while, a family member, only if they've got political clout, can get in to see someone. And if you're lucky, you'll get their body back when they've been executed, but sometimes they don't bother with that. Now, I have spoken for most of the show on Iran, but it is not the only story today. I have given you a very dark look inside Evin Prison, which is a very dark place. And I don't do book recommendations. But if you want to know what the real Iran is, and I would love to put this book in the hands of every member of Congress and force them to read it. A Time to Betray by Reza Khalili. is a read. Reza is a pen name because the Iranian government would still like to kill him for his betrayal. He escaped, and last I knew, he was living here in the United States. Now, we move from one really fun location, if you can call it that, and I'm just playing with my soundboard tonight. You're going to have to bear with me to... Nah, that's too bright and cheery for North Korea, but we're going to go with it for tonight anyway. We're going to talk North Korea. All right. You guys heard a whole bunch of rhetoric over the weekend. Well, I guarantee you, you haven't heard the last of this. North Korea said, let's talk. We'll send a team to the Olympics. So, somebody from the South Korean Unification Committee hot trots it on up to Panmunjom, Truce Village, right on the border. They pick up the hotline the very next day. Now, this hotline was installed for communication between the two Koreas. The phone rings. The phone rings. It's a ring down line. It's not like your phone at home. You don't have to dial a number, so there's no chance they misdialed. You pick up the phone on this end, it rings on the other end. No one ever answered. They are still not answering South Korea. The Olympics are about a little more than a month away. And, they proposed talks at Panmunjom next Tuesday. But you know how they had to make that proposal? They literally had to do what's called towing the line. You ready for this one? You go up to the DMZ, and instead of picking up a phone line, like a normal person, you stand about 5-10 feet back from the border with a megaphone, and you shout your message at the guards. Now, you're going to have to do this a couple times, because they won't know that you're necessarily about to do this, so they'll come out and indicate that you need to repeat it, and then they'll videotape it. That is the current level of communication between the Koreas right now. South Korea has always answered the line. The hotline isn't physically severed, but North Korea won't answer. And that phone line is tried at least once a day. So, now of course, I understand if North Korea or if Kim Jong-un is too busy to send a representative down to Panmunjom because his birthday's on Monday, even though they proposed Tuesday. He may be too busy partying. But who knows? Now, more about North Korea. What did you have to eat for dinner? A steak? A nice salad? Pizza? Chinese? Greek? Pasta? Macaroni and cheese? How long did it take you to get the food? We probably pulled it out of the refrigerator, called the local pizza place, hit the drive-thru, whatever. Even if you cooked a meal from scratch, I'm going to guess it took you about an hour, and that meant you pulled the stuff, went to the grocery store, picked up the food, came home and prepared it. But you aren't out in the fields scrounging for corn kernels left over from the crops being harvested, for a few scraps of rice. North Korean soldiers are being granted leave in the order of 2 to 3 months so that they can find food. It was a poor harvest caused by a drought, and even the army is suffering. Now, the price of rice hasn't gone up yet, at least not much. But they're worried with all these sanctions it might. And it's not because we're sanctioning rice. That's the last thing we're going to sanction. It's because the government doesn't want to spend money on rice. Oh, and by the way, North Korea, believe it or not, exports certain foods, with its own people starving to death. They have the gall to export food. It is not that North Korea can't feed its own people. They won't. Soldiers are being given 2 to 3 months to leave to gather food. Even small private plots near military installations, which usually perform fairly well, have performed very poorly this year. Some officers are sending their families to sell their livestock in the market. Military wives are taking soap, shoes, and other emergency supplies held by their husbands, who are officers, to sell in rural markets in order to buy food, because the officers know better than anyone they must feed their soldiers in order to maintain morale. And rations of cornmeal and very little else only serve to instill disillusionment. So the same government that will spend thousands on possibly vaccinating its soldiers against anthrax will not feed their people. Now, Nikki Haley had a great quote from her press conference today. Let's take a listen.
We finished December with our third strong sanctions resolution of last year. That was a great achievement, but there is more to do to ensure full implementation of the Security Council resolutions. As we hear reports that North Korea might be preparing for another missile test. I hope that does not happen. But if it does, we must bring even more measures to bear on the North Korean regime.
Yep. That's about the size of it. They are not feeding their people. They're preparing to launch an all-out attack. Now, we are going, there is an audio clip of Nikki Haley I want to play, but I didn't get it properly clipped. So I'm going to take a gamble on finding it. Yeah, we're playing audio clip roulette. You guys have played that game with me before.
To that end, tomorrow night we are having a
Yep, that's not the one we wanted. Let's back up. I think it's back.
The administration is withholding $255 million in assistance to Pakistan. There are clear reasons for this. Pakistan has played a double game for years. They work with us at times, and they also harbor the terrorists that attack our troops in Afghanistan. That game is not acceptable to this administration. We expect far more cooperation from Pakistan in the fight against terrorism. The President is willing to go to great lengths to stop all funding from Pakistan as they continue to harbor and support terrorism.
Yes, we are cutting off funds to Pakistan. And for that, that is a good job. That is something well done. That is something I have seen no other president have the guts to do it. And it is about time. Need I remind you folks where Osama bin Laden was found? Tiny little town called Abbottabad, Pakistan. And Pakistan's version of West Point was essentially down the corner around the street. Oh yeah. And our government is not cruel. They will help. Now, Trump's tweets, while I don't always agree with a Twitter president, I guess it's something we're going to have to accept, at least this administration, prompted an emergency meeting in Pakistan. And the National Security Council of Pakistan views our stance of withholding money as completely incomprehensible. And they say that we don't understand the sacrifices made by the Pakistani nation. All right. Well, folks, I will most likely be ending my show on taps tomorrow night because I do know that there was a soldier killed in Afghanistan. I haven't heard of too many Pakistani military out fighting Daesh. I haven't heard of too many Pakistanis out there looking for Osama bin Laden when he was down the street around the corner from your version of West Point. I'm sorry, Pakistan. Fail.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
And I don't know how else to put it. All right, folks. Just as a reminder, I'm having Justin Kinney, unless anything pops up at the last minute. Justin Kinney will be joining me live here on KLRNRadio.com tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And then on Monday, this is going to be a show. I'm having Wild, who is a medically retired United States Navy SEAL, and Justin. That is bound to be interesting. Then, I'm lining up a few other intriguing things coming up. Now, I'm about out of here, yeah, and I've got part of an outro. Like I said, it's not quite fully done. So, for now, you can follow me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint. My website, yeah. Oh, bet you didn't know I had a website, jessespov.com. I don't use it much, but it's there. And it got a nice little overhaul today. Now, it's great if for those of you who are listening via Memorex and you want to drop me a line about something and you can't remember the email address of Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio.com, you can run on over there and drop me a line there. And on that note, folks, I will see you tomorrow night.